may we know kung ano ang magiging hakbang ng Congress now that the Commission on Audit, naglabas sila ng report na yung Office of the President ay top spender ng 2023 Confidential and Intelligence Fund. Pati yun ba ay bubusisiin din ng Kongreso kung paano ginastos?
Well, yung sa Office of the President is a different matter dahil yun may trabaho at may obligasyon ang ating Presidente bilang Commander-in-Chief ng sandatahan ng ating bansa at ang kanya po ay it concerns national security. Ito pong ipinapasa po namin ay paglilimita sa mga ahensya na wala pong kinalaman sa national security, sa peace and order at intelligence gathering. Kami po kasi confined, itong investigasyon namin is confined doon sa privilege speech ni Congressman Valeriano at saka ni Congresswoman Luis.
Hello po mga ka-viral and welcome back to this YouTube channel. Latest update na naman tayo. Kinwestiyon ng kampo ni VP Sara Duterte ang pagsulong ng mga kongresista sa impeachment cases laban sa kanya. Samantala, idineklara ng COA or Commission on Audit na cleared at aprobado nila ang disbursement report ng OVP. At ayon sa COA, noong 2023, ang Office of the President is the most top spender ng confidential funds at intelligent funds. Ibig sabihin ay ang Presidente na si PBBM at ang opisina nito ay gumastos ng bilyon-bilyon na confidential funds at intelligent funds. Subalit walang kilos ang taga-kamara upang kilatisin at ipatawag ang Pangulo upang alamin ang pinaggastusan nito. Ayon sa kampo ni Vice President ay lantaran na ang opisina lamang niya ang target nila upang ipa-impeach at kung magtatakumpay di umano sila ay magpa-file sila ng mga kaso na maaring magtanggal sa kanya sa pwesto bilang Vice Presidente. Ngunit ayon kay VP Sara Duterte ay lalaban di umano siya kasama ang kanyang mga magigiting na mga abogado. Walang di umano siyang nulustay na pera ng bayan dahil mismo ang COA or Commission on Audit ang magpapatunay nito. Dagdag pa niya ay political harassment at personal interest lamang nila ang impeachment cases na isinusulong nila dahil ayon sa mga taga-suporta ng OVP at takot silang tumakbo ang Vice Presidente na si VP Sara Duterte sa darating na 2028 presidential elections dahil di umano sa maraming taga-suporta nito sa buong bansa at sa ibang bansa din.
And si Vice President Sara Duterte, meron din po siyang statement. Sinabi niya na with that nga po, at least kahit paano, matatapos na rin yung tinatawag niya na may relief daw po bala sa mga personnel ng OVP and sa Department of Education dahil natapos ng hearing kasi nung mga nakaraang linggo daw talaga nababalisa, anxious daw sila, tormented. Takot daw sila sa buhay nila and that's why buti naman ngayon. And with the impeachment nga po no, na isasalang na, at least doon daw po masasagot niya yung mga dapat sagutin lalo na may proseso daw ng batas. So, sir, ano pong masasabi niyo? Mas mabuti raw na mayroon nga impeachment dahil doon sa impeachment ako lang yung inahabol ng mga members of the House of Representatives. Hindi na nila tiniterrorize yung mga kasamahan ko sa Office of the Vice President. Would you like to comment on that? Na, yun nga, with your pag-summarize or pagtapos po nito ng confidential fund probe ng good government. And sabi niyo po, tatalakayin niyo na rin sa impeachment proceedings, kumbaga, kung magtutuloy po sa Committee on Justice itong confidential fund probe.
Well, syempre, nare-respeto naman natin ang opinion ng ating Vice President. At kung sakasakali nga po na ito'y talakayin ng impeachment ng ating Vice President, yung mga bagay-bagay, no, yung mga ibang issue, siguro mas fully masasagot dun sa Committee on Justice.
In addition lang po siguro, just a comment, I'm not sure necessarily interrelated naman po sila kasi yung proceedings dito sa briefing, not really briefing, proceedings po natin dito sa good government in aid of legislation, iba naman po yung tutukan po natin as compared to impeachment. So I don't know, I don't necessarily agree, although we respect the opinion, of course, that's the good Vice President's opinion. Pero for her to say na mas okay nang, I think that's the gist of it po, Marian, no? Tama. Na sinasabi niya, buti lang natapos na tong good go para makaproceed na sa impeachment. One, the impeachment proceedings is separate. Two, we don't even know if it's going to proceed because as far as we know, there were only 2 filings as of late. And we're unsure yet of how that's going to proceed po, no? If it's going to really afford her that, yung sabi niya po, she wants to she's willing to have face-to-face. But when it comes to the impeachment complaint po, that's a separate matter. It's different from this. So we're not sure also kung the articles of impeachment itself would include this. So it really depends po on yung basis doon. So yung point lang being, parang these are 2 separate matters and I'm not sure if it really follows po, no?
Sir, I understand meron na rin pong parang nilalobby yung Makabayan Bloc or may nagpapapirma po nga nitong para sa, wanted resolution na po ng impeachment case at didiretso na sa plenaryo. Kayo po ba willing kayo? Are you in favor po para pumirma dito sa impeachment resolution?
Well, honestly, hindi ko pa nababasa yung laman ng impeachment complaint ng Makabayan Bloc. So, in the event na ibigay po sa amin to, pag-aaralan po muna namin kung ano yung laman nito.
In my case po, personally, di pa po lumalapit yung Makabayan. I haven't seen yet yung impeachment complaint po nila. So we can't really comment yet, having not seen the articles po. If I understand, Makabayan is only 1 article of impeachment. Tama po ba? And that's very different because I understand, comparing lang to the other impeachment, there were 3 articles, 24 grounds. So you have to consider in po all of that in totality before choosing which one to support po siguro.
Sorry. Follow-up lang, sorry, second to the last question. Sir, you mentioned po, Chairman Chua, several times na kulang po tayo sa oras. Tingin nyo, wala na pong panahon dahil nga magkakampanya na eleksyon. Do you think po it's better that this will be tackled, itong impeachment complaint, sa 20th Congress rather than sa 19th Congress?
Ano po? Pakiulit.
Sabi niyo po, wala nang panahon. Pinaka-challenge po, for example, para isulong nga po ang impeachment complaint kay VP Sara is yung time. Wala pong oras pa dahil magkakaroon na ng eleksyon, may kampanya, magiging busy, lalo na po kayong mga congressistas and senators. Kung sakaling umabot na nga po doon sa Senado yung bilang trial court, at ano po ba sa tingin ninyo? Better ba kung sa 20th Congress, tingin niyo po ba isa lang ang impeachment kesa sa 19th Congress?
Well, yung Senate kasi is a continuing body. Hindi naman yan matatapos. Meron pa rin naman 12 senador. Yung comment ko po ay personal opinion ko lamang yun. At hindi po yun ang opinion ng lahat. So, sinasabi ko lang yun dahil by February, alam naman natin, national campaign na. And by March, local campaign. Although, syempre, ang trabaho naman namin, ang mandato po namin is hanggang end ng June. So, in the event naman na itong impeachment talaga ay umusad, syempre may obligasyon din naman kami na ito ay gampanan.
We recognize Vic Sumintak, Net 25.
Congressman Chua, sir, good morning. Sir, now that the House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability is eyeing for a legislation requiring confidential and intelligence fund disclosure and penalties for misuse of that fund, may we know kung ano magiging hakbang ng Congress now that the Commission on Audit, naglabas sila ng report na yung Office of the President ay top spender ng 2023 confidential and intelligence fund, pati yun ba ay bubusisiin din ng Kongreso kung paano ginastos?
Well, yung sa Office of the President is a different matter dahil yun may trabaho at may obligasyon ang ating Presidente bilang Commander-in-Chief ng sandatahan ng ating bansa at ang kanya po ay it concerns national security. Ito pong ipinapasa po namin ay paglilimita sa mga ahensya na wala pong kinalaman sa national security, sa peace and order at intelligence gathering. Kami po kasi confined, itong investigasyon namin is confined doon sa privilege speech ni Congressman Valeriano at saka ni Congresswoman Luistro.
In addition to that lang po, no, and just to be clear, 2 points make it different po. No? First and foremost, yung nabanggit po ni Chairman Chua, is that in relation to yung good gov, we were talking about confidential funds by civilian agencies that are not necessarily related initially. And whether or not this piece of legislation was passed, we are going to act on that. If someone filed a privileged speech or a resolution, if there were any regarding doon naman sa President, if ever it was found to be used in matters not related to their functions, then I think the committee would also take that matter up po. No? But the difference is it did not happen po. Dito, confidential funds of a civilian agency. So, President, very clear po. In fact, if I understand po, sir, no, the COA, can you give us yung value po, sir, yung sa COA? Ano po yung nabanggit? For 2023 po ito, no?
For 2023, the Office of the President under President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is the top confidential and intelligence fund spender for 2023 with a combine of 4.56 billion based on the report of COA Annual Financial Report.
Confidential and intelligence funds po, no? We have to take note, yung sa good government, what we were talking about is confidential funds of a civilian agency. Intelligence funds po, which are related to national security concerns as disbursed by the necessary security agency. Iba naman po yun. And I think the bulk of my understanding of the news was correct. Yung sa 4 point something, majority of that was intelligence funds naman po talaga. So that's the first po na, the distinction between confidential and intelligence funds, between civilian and security agency. Second matter po na yung pagkakaiba nito, we will take note, wala pong notice of disallowance. There was no notice of disallowance in the OP, and that's why no one has filed any privileged speech or resolution. Dito po sa OVP, nagkaroon pa ng notice of disallowance. So that's one difference po siguro. And in fact, one of the provisions in the new piece of legislation is that the notice of disallowance would open up yung COA declassification. So I think those are the two kinds of distinctions. But in summary po, if ever there was a complaint, I believe the committee will hear it. But given po na one, it's not really, that was intelligence and not confidential, and two, wala namang notice of disallowance, I think we'd understand kung bakit wala po actually in the complaint.
Okay. Sir, one last na lang go. On the impeachment issue, sir, as you have mentioned, na kung sakaling dito sa House, lumusot yung impeachment, pupunta ng Senado, yung panahon ang problema. Pero probably, sabi nyo nga kung Chua, continuing body ang Senate kasi may matitirang 12. Pero ang problema doon, di ba sir, based on the rules of impeachment, does not constitute a yung required numbers that is 2/3 to convict the impeachable official. Then what will happen to the impeachment case if ever makarating ng Senado?
Well, unang-una, yung gagraduate po ay may mandato pa sila hanggang June, end of June. Hindi pa naman sila, ibig sabihin, hindi naman porke nagsimula ang kampanya, ibig sabihin ay hindi na po nila dapat kampanan ang kanilang trabaho. So kung ito po ay sumampa, whether may kampanya o wala, talagang siyempre bilang mga lingkod bayan, obligado rin po sila na gampanan ang kanilang trabaho.
We recognize Ms. Vivian, then followed by Ms. Mela.
Sir, bale, 1 week na lang before yung mag-break, yung Congress. So, napag-usapan na po ba sa majority yung impeachment with this time left before mag-break?
So far, wala pa naman po.
And then, would you have information po kung na-transmit na sa Office of the Speaker yung 2 impeachment complaints filed so far?
Sorry, wala rin po akong idea.
Your reaction na hindi pa po natatransmit? I mean, if at this time hindi pa natatransmit?
I believe ito po yung what we discussed in the previous press con question of yung 10 days. Is it necessary that it has to be transmitted immediately within the 10 days or do they really wait until the end? But given that the 10 days has not lapsed, we can't see any issues yet po, no? So we'll have to wait and see po with the Office of the Secretary General.
And then sir, dito lang sa mga final po ninyo na bills so far, ano po yung mga nakita ninyo that prompted the filing? For example, yun po bang current SDOs, wala yung mga background na nabanggit po ninyo, etc.?
Wala eh. Ang sa SDO ngayon, basta't ikaw ay pinili ng head of agency, SDO ka na. Kaya nga medyo hinigpitan po natin dahil nakita po natin. At saka dito po, clearly, nilagay rin po namin na hindi mo po pwedeng i-delegate yung iyong trabaho bilang SDO.
Ano yung danger nun, sir? Pag in-appoint ka lang, hindi ka permanent employee na SDO?
Siyempre, kaya po namin na binigyan ng mabigat na para maiwasan yung pagkukuntsabahan ng head of agency at saka ng SDO.
In addition lang po, no? So generally, it's hard to summarize po, Vivian, sorry, kung what prompted us to file this legislation. But in relation to your question, the SDO, regarding appointments in confidence, mahirap rin po because the necessary nature of confidential funds, given that they're given, there's more impunity in relation to its spending, there's more discretion, and it's under less scrutiny, apparently. That's what we've seen in the Good Governing Committee. When you have familiarity between the head of agency and then the appointed person of trust, it would breed some sort, not really breed, but what we would see is it could be a possible avenue for collusion. So that's why one of the things that was pointed out in the new piece of legislation is that it should be a professional, permanent office already. So once we've determined, first and foremost, whether an agency will require confidential or intelligence funds, then they would also need a permanent position which will not change from administration to administration. So less likely na po yung chances of collusion. In line with that, kasama na rin po doon yung dangers of further delegation. Mawawala rin yung point nung measures na anti-collusion if you will still allow the SDO to further delegate to other persons. In fact, our understanding of the joint circular was that bawal na po di ba, kung SDO po ako, bawal na po yan i-delegate. But given that we've seen that that is the practice, we felt that it is needed to necessarily spell it out in the law. So yun po yung ginawa po natin here, amongst other things po.
Okay. Dito lang, sir, sa yung isa nyo pang bill, yung imposing penalties for misappropriation of confidential funds. Wala pa po bang current laws punishing yung, misappropriation, misuse of confidential funds?
Actually, pag titignan mo kasi maraming po pwedeng maging punishment. Nandiyan yung pagkamalaki yung amount, more than 50, plunder, so may mga so forth and so on, di ba? So ito naman po is in addition doon sa mga po pwedeng isampa.
We have to take note po yung legislation natin. As you mentioned, ito na po yung sinasabi natin, in aid of legislation. We already have criminal laws. In fact, some of the words that have been thrown around were technical malversation, perjury, falsification, plunder, all of those put together. We already have the crimes to penalize. The problem is, we can't really pinpoint the liability. Kasi nga po, for example, ang sinasabi nila, bilang SDO, I'm not liable kasi pinasa ko sa iba. Although alam natin there would be malversation, the question is, tama po ba yung pagpasa niya? Because that would define the procedure. Kung well and good, if they say, if the finding is allowed naman under the joint circular yung pagpasa nung disbursement to a different officer, then baliwala yung mga current criminal laws po natin. But if now we have this law that says bawal na po mag-delegate further, the mere fact of delegating would now open them up to yung technical malversation na sinasabi natin and other criminal laws that we already have in place.
Got it. Thank you.
Miss Mela?
Hi, sir. Good morning po. Kong Chua and Kong Rog,
Rosalie.
balikan ko lang po yung statement natin, yung press release natin kahapon kasi nabanggit nga po na may pinapacheck na tayong 1,992 names allegedly not tied to allegedly OVP secret fund anomaly. Tanong ko lang po sana kung may update na sa PSA about this big numbers ng pinapa-verify natin and kung sakali mang may resulta na, paano po ito makakaapekto sa ating findings gayong tama po ba, di ba tinapos na natin yung about sa confidential funds?
Well, unang-una, inaantay pa namin yung resulta sa PSA. Pangalawa, wala pa naman po kaming committee report na ginagawa. So, kung ano man yung magiging resulta ng findings, makakaasa kayo na isasama po namin yan sa committee report.
So ngayong taon, sir, wala nang hearing eh. Tama po ba? Ang good government.
Wala nang hearing. This year, wala.
Next year.
Well, kagaya po ng sinasabi namin, sinuspend lang naman namin. Hindi pa naman namin tineterminate eh. So,
Open pa rin
open pa rin.
ma-discuss.
Yes.
Opo. Sorry, may isang question lang po, other topic. Kay Kong Rog, kahapon po kasi sa plenary, inaprubahan na ng Kamara sa ikatlo at huling pagbasa itong House Bill number 1113, rationalizing the safety measures and penalties relative to the operation of motorcycles. Kayo po as a One Rider Party List, ano pong masasabi nyo rito? And can you just give us parang short ano po bang ano nito, yung bill na to, short na description?
Sorry, Chair Joel, parochial concerns. Yung concern po natin dun sa House Bill 11113, this is amendments to the Motorcycle Crime Prevention Act. It's sort of a mixed bag po, no? Kasi we've been active in the committee naman po. We have to
pag-uusapan yung about sa impeachment sa minority bloc na pag-uusapan.
Napag-uusapan po to in the sense na it's news already, may nag-file, we're talking about ano kaya mangyayari dito, but it's not a concerted effort po, no? There is no one movement by the minority bloc to file an impeachment complaint if yun po yung tanong eh. But given that members of the minority bloc, that being yung Makabayan bloc po natin, mga kasamahan natin, sina Kong, Brosas, Castro, and Manuel, given that they've already filed a complaint, they've been going around po and asking us for support. So in a sense, we have talked about the merits, but nothing yet that's formal in the sense na gumagalaw as one minority po.
Thank you po.
Kongs, good afternoon po. On related topic lang, sir, Vice President Sara Duterte still refused to appear before NBI despite ng kanyang pangalawang subpoena na nag-ugat nga doon sa death threats na in-announce niya sa kasagsagan ng komosyon with Attorney Zulaika. Any reaction lang po on this?
I think it's just it's unfortunate, although we respect siguro the decision of the OVP if yung opinion nila. I think the opinion was that they would rather just submit a subpoena because based on her lawyer's advice, not subpoena, based on the lawyer's advice, they can just file a counter affidavit. However, kami were of the position that the Vice President should take every avenue to clear their name, to clear the office's name, to clear her name, and that in fact, to the extent that under Chairman Joel, we suspended one of our good government hearings so that she could attend. So you can see very clearly where we stand. We're here for her to be able to, we wanted to afford her the opportunity to answer po the allegations, even from other government bodies. But given that hindi she's not doing, it's unfortunate. And we repeat our, yung panawagan po namin that we hope that she participates, not only with the NBI, with all, I understand, marami na pong mga nasampang kaso. I hope she participates with all the agencies as far as the rule of law is concerned po.
Thank you po. Other questions? Dexter, Chino? Kung wala na po...
Sir, wait lang.
Sorry.
Sorry. Hindi, kasi meron pa po palang statement si VP Sara regarding po Sir Chairman Chua dun sa 405 na sinabi, reported by PSA na no birth records from the 677 na una po natin sinabi. Sabi niya, dapat malaman nila kung paano ginagawang intelligence operations bago magsalita ang mga tao with regard to the mga documents about confidential funds. Kasi hindi ganyan kadali magsabi ka lang na walang nag-i-exist na mga tao na ganito.
Well, hindi naman po kami ang nagsasabi na ito hindi nag-i-exist, kundi binibase lang po namin sa record na binigay sa amin ng PSA. So, based sa record ng PSA, walang mga pinanganak or na ganito yung mga pangalan. Around 405 kung hindi po ako nagkakamali. And the rest po ay maraming kapangalan.
In addition to that po, Marian, the issue, I think, isn't only in how intelligence and confidential funds are expended, kung paano ginagawa yung intelligence operations. Okay, for one, yung sinasabi po ng VP na dapat alamin po namin kung paano ginagawa yung intelligence operations. Kaya nga po kami nag-hearing eh. We had this hearing to find out how it was dispersed. And necessarily, with the dispersal comes how the intelligence operation, how it operates. Of course, it's confidential, so we understand that there will be some distinction. But at least, give us the reason why we would know or need to know paano po, they would use that receipts, yung mga pseudonym if needed. But that's first po, no? But with that aside, clear naman po yung sinabi ng COA. As far as they're concerned, hindi naman po ito, I think it was Congressman Adyong who was questioning that. Hindi naman to basis to use pseudonyms. Clear in the circular, part of it is supposed to be documentary evidence of payment. Itong mga ARs, dapat accurate po siya. Precisely for accountability purposes. Whether or not that's how the intelligence operation operates, it still needs to, based on our circulars and based on the proceedings, it still needs the necessary documentary evidence of payment. So, that's how an intelligence operation operates is separate from the accountability that follows. So I think that's the issue there, why we're looking so much into yung mga ARs po, no?
In addition to that, kung babasahin natin yung joint circular, may mga parameters dito na nilagay to protect the identity of the beneficiaries, no? Yung mga may issue ng acknowledgement receipt. Isa nga po dito, nakalagay dapat, dun sa envelope, it should be sealed. Tapos may nakalagay sa likod na confidential, at itong sealed envelope, dapat ilalagay ito sa vault. So kung ang mga ilalagay naman dito, puro mga nickname, mga pseudonym, bakit pa ito lalagyan ng ganito kahigpit na safety precaution? Otherwise, kung po pwede naman pala mga ganon, di po pwede namang ilagay na lang natin dito sa harapan natin, kahit kanino nababasa. Total, hindi naman malalaman kung kaninong identity yan.
In addition to the in addition po, no? There's one more thing. If we're zooming into the ARs, we see yung problem po na sinasabi na fictitious names or pseudonyms or code names or ano man yan. How can you determine that if di nyo alam kung paano operate yung intelligence operations? But if we take a step back and look at the bigger picture confidential funds, one of the issues is mali-mali nga po yung categorization ng disbursement nila eh. It's not just payment of rewards. There was payment of medicine, there was payment of food, which were not allowed under the circular. So I think, and some of the ARs were used for those purposes. So regardless of whether we understand or we know necessarily how the intelligence agency or the intelligence operation is operated, the mere fact na mali po yung categories means mali po talaga yung disbursement. So talaga we really have to look into every piece of AR and their accuracy to really determine po, no, yung liabilities of the officers involved. Yun na po.
Sir, sorry, follow-up.
Kung tama yung kanilang paggamit ng confidential fund, di sana hindi sila na-issuean ng notice of disallowance.
We recognize
Sorry,
Chino.
sir, follow-up lang doon. Doon po ba sa bill na final natin, dinitalya rin po ba natin kung paano ito, doon lalo sa pag-act regulating the allocation utilization of confidential funds?
Actually, ang plano kasi namin talaga na hindi pa namin ma-finalize is yung sa joint circular. Kasi nasa joint circular talaga yung parameters kung paano gagamitin ito eh. So hindi namin ma-finalize pa kung ito ay isasabatas na lang namin or gagawa kami ng resolution para amyendahan ng mga concerned agencies itong joint circular.
I think also in addition, it's sense. We can't really dictate ano pong mangyayari sa joint circular. It will only be a recommendation on our end. We have to have consultative meetings, and then it's not even final on our part kasi they can only take our word as advice lang po on how to go about it. But given our oversight functions and power of the purse, I think that's where the committee is headed now. They took a distinct direction in which may capacity po talaga yung Congress, which is to legislate laws. And doon po nagagaling yung House Bill, I forget, it's 11192. Yeah, yun po.
And siguro, in the next scheduled hearing, baka ito rin muna yung i-prioritize namin. Papatawag namin yung mga signatories nitong joint circular, and then we will consult them kung ano ba sa tingin nila ang necessary. Dahil since sila yung gumawa nito, so siyempre, mas maganda naman na makonsulto rin sila out of respect dito sa mga ahensya at mga departamento.
Last question will be from Chino Gaston of GMA.
Morning, sir. Totally unrelated. Sa confidential funds. Morning. Sir, there was a resolution filed by the Macabaya Bloc early this morning urging the government for, to ask the President for clemency para kay Mary Jane Veloso. Will it find support sa mga congressman? Kapag dating dito, Mary Jane Veloso, yung OFW nire-repatriate. So, parang ano lang kasi exchange of custody lang yun para mabalik lang dito. they're asking for clemency. Would that be in the realm of down your alley to give support para mabigyan ng clemency? Yeah.
Sorry,
Clemency kasi, sir, is granted by the president, diba? So,
Yes.
yeah. So, may nag-file ng resolution lang. From my understanding, it's to ask the government to grant the clemency when she's effectively repatriated.
Initially po, first and foremost, yung clemency is an executive act. So, understandably, I don't think a lot of congressmen would be